My name is Samuel Menya Asakisiedu. I am the Information Technology Manager for Millennium Insurance Company Limited. Millennium Insurance Company Limited is a general business insurance company which has in its businesses motor insurance, fire insurance, anything related to non-life insurance. Millennium has been doing business with Vodafone since 2012 when we started as a company. We've been using their voice and data services. For voice services, we've been using both their fixed line and mobile line services. These services provided by Vodafone has been very reliable, and we've been with them ever since. Fiber to the business is one very interesting service that Vodafone has introduced, which is able to give very reliable data services to the business. It has really helped Millennium Insurance as we run most of our services on it, including our VPN services, which have been very stable and reliable.
Ready?
So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know what you're shown. What where what you're shown. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know what you're shown. Manchester, you know Sumanguru, you know what where what you're shown. What's that to do, you know? Wamasa, you know? Yasan, you know what you're shown. Get your Israel, get my Egypt, get your Ethiopia, get Sudan, what you're shown. Aquaka, Bajimo, one year, I for Kalacha, I get you 1 year, and in young fang. Aquaka, Bajimo, 1 year, I for Kalacha, I get you 1 year, and in young fang. I'm a Gaminian Matu. I'm a guy on young Motu. I'm a guy on young Watumo. I'm a guy on young Matu. I'm a guy on young Watu. I'm a guy on young Watumo.
Ministers of State, Your Excellencies, Ghana's Acting High Commissioner, special guests, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Thank you very much for making time to join us for the second session of the Doing Business with Ghana webinar series. A very warm welcome to you all. This webinar series is organized by the Ghana High Commission UK, the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce UK GCC, and the Ghana Investment Promotion Centre GIPC, with active support from the Ministry of Trade and Industry Ghana, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration Ghana, the British High Commission Ghana, the UK Export Finance, the Oxford Business Group, and Invest in Africa. My name is Linda Wayo, and together with Papa Colbertels, we will be your hosts for today's webinar. This webinar series is proudly sponsored by Vodafone Business and Ghana International Bank. Vodafone Business is a reliable total telecommunications provider offering voice, fixed and mobile, data, cloud, IoT, and mobile money services to drive growth in business and success. Ghana International Bank, GHIB, is a Ghanaian-owned bank authorized by the PRA and FCA, based in London with over 50 years of operation. For organizations looking to do business in Ghana and Africa as a whole, the bank provides a gateway to the global financial system, providing access and expertise, capital, and extensive cross-border capabilities. Following a successful first edition, which looked at the investment climate in Ghana, we have indeed had a substantial number of follow-ups, and it's good to know that investors are more keen than ever to do business in Ghana. So let's keep up the momentum. As we get ready to do business in Ghana, it is important that we familiarize ourselves with the various requirements to ease our entry into the Ghanaian market. And our theme for today's webinar centered around Ghana's business ecosystem, which will see us delve into business registration, establishment, regulatory reforms, immigration, and international trade looks to do just that. We sincerely hope you find the next 2 hours insightful and informative. And now, to set the ball rolling, it is my pleasure to invite Ghana's acting High Commissioner to the UK and Republic of Ireland, Mrs. Matilda Alumatu Osei Ajaman, to give us her opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Linda. Honorable Deputy Minister for Trade, Honorable Ahunkalinti, represented here today by Mr. Kofi Addo, head of the One District, One Factory system in Ghana. Actually, Kofi Addo is the outgoing head of the trade section here in the UK. So he's very much with us even as we speak. So Mr. Kofi Addo, welcome, and we appreciate that you are representing the Honorable Deputy Minister for Trade. Your Excellencies, heads of diplomatic missions here in the UK, panelists, distinguished invited guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Before I proceed, I would like to bring to mind the very sad news that we all know about, the passing away of our former president, His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, the first president of the Fourth Republic. And so I think it's in order that I call on all of us to observe a 1-minute silence in his honor. 1 minute silence, please, before we proceed. May the soul of the former president, Jerry John Rawlings, and the souls of all departed rest in perfect peace. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this second series of our Doing Business with Ghana webinar. I can assure you that we have an impressive set of panelists. And if I do say so myself, we will have the Trade Attaché, Papa Korbatels, and Ms. Linda Wayo introduce them to you as we move along. I hope that you all find this event useful, COVID restrictions notwithstanding. We know that these are challenging times and changing times, as we are all witnesses to the impact of COVID-19, its resurgence, and the current restrictions in the UK and indeed globally, all of which have caused the rearrangement of the world of business and the significant shift in the rules of engagement in every facet of our lives. Currently, our world is heavily defined by everything virtual to ensure continuity of life as we remain hopeful for a resumption of active business soon. The Ghana High Commission recognizes these changing times, which we must adapt to for the continuation of business in Ghana and the UK, as well as towards our bilateral relations with the United Kingdom, which must go under a redefined environment. That is why we have initiated these webinar series to engage businesses during this new normal. The Doing Business with Ghana platform is a direct response to the many inquiries and requests that the business and investor environment have brought to our attention. Essentially, what the series seeks to achieve is to focus on 3 key sectors of the Ghanaian economy, namely services, industry, agriculture, and showcase the opportunities available in Ghana based on the business-friendly regulations for trade and investment, and create a platform for addressing the challenges that businesses face in doing business with Ghana. So, ladies and gentlemen, specific to this second series, we'll be looking at several variables that promote the ease of doing business in Ghana under the theme, Ghana's business ecosystem. And so we will address the issues of business registration, establishment, look at the regulatory reforms that Ghana has put in place, the role of immigration, and activities of Ghana's International Trade Commission. So as you can see, this webinar will look at the various dimensions of the business environment and provide clear indicators and pointers on how to do business with Ghana. We will also hear from our partners in the business climate in Ghana and the role they are playing in driving FDI and their importance in the UK-Ghana business relation. I must emphasize that hopefully In 2021, we will be looking at all the sectors to ensure improved trade and investment relations between Ghana and the UK. In our 2021 webinars, we will be taking a close look at the fintech industry, SME development, infrastructure, and many more. In all of this, may I reiterate the importance of looking at the business worker, both local and expat, and how the impact of COVID-19 has affected business ethics and profit generally. Ladies and gentlemen, may I conclude by assuring you that we will endeavor progressively to bring you the best assembly of experts to speak to the issues, to inform you, to enlighten you, and bring clarity to all areas of doing business with Ghana. I thank you very much for your attention, and I do hope that you enjoy this webinar and find it worthwhile. I guess it's in order to say Akwaba, welcome, as we say in Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Matilda Alomatu Osei-Agyeman, Ghana's Acting High Commissioner, for your hearty welcome. I would now like to invite Ajoba Chiama, Executive Director for UK GCC, which is fundamentally the bridge between UK and Ghana business, to give us some remarks.
Thank you very much, Linda. Mrs. Alomatu Osei-Agyeman, Ghana's Acting High Commissioner to the UK, Mr. Kofi Addo, representing the Honorable Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry of Ghana, our distinguished panel of speakers, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, good morning to all of you. I am delighted to be contributing to the opening remarks at this morning's webinar, which is the second in a series of webinars on doing business with Ghana on behalf of the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce, also known as the UK GCC, a key implementation partner, as Mrs. Osei-Agyeman, as Linda mentioned earlier on. To perfectly describe what we do at the UK GCC and why events such as today's event is important to what we do, I probably have to tell you about how we began the year 2020. We had great plans and even greater expectations. Our premier event was the Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit, or GIUS for short, in London, for which we were an event partner. We brought along with us several participating companies. We scheduled a number of meetings for them. And we also ensured that those meetings happened. And by all standards, it was a very successful summit. And we were rewarded for our efforts by the uptake in the number of companies that reached out to us afterwards to join our chamber. A perfect example of that success is Western Freight and Logistics, a company operating in Ghana, specifically in Takoradi, which is located in the western region of Ghana, who joined our chamber after participating in GIUS. After matchmaking them with our member business network, they've gone on to actually successfully do business with some of the members of our chamber, and they have subsequently become one of our cheerleaders in Ghana and looking to recruit other businesses into our network in the western region of Ghana. To echo what Mrs. Osei-Agyeman just said, it is an undisputed fact that 2020 has seen an unprecedented global health crisis. Even so, one of the things that we at UKGCC understand very well is that trade is essential to save lives and also to save livelihoods. And so international trade must continue to be seen as a necessary imperative. In that regard, there is an even greater need to keep international supply chains going, especially for essentials such as health, supplies, and food. And to quote what the legendary Winston Churchill said, we should never let a good crisis go to waste. So therefore, we see that there's an opportunity for Ghana to embrace the digital age and adopt more and more digital technologies for those supply chains in both production and services, be it in the private or public sector. So one of the things that we are promoting is more investment opportunities in digital education, particularly. At the UKGCC, we actually moved almost all our activities to a virtual environment since March and engaged with our bigger and more resilient member companies as knowledge partners to share their expertise with our members initially and later with the general public. In doing so, we strengthened the capacity of all our member companies to weather this passing storm. It also affirmed what we knew already, that the sectors with high levels of digitization weathered the storm much better and continue to thrive as businesses. And so I'm throwing this out there to the audience that for those who are interested, especially in the training and related learning materials in the digital space, there's a huge opportunity for you in the Ghana market. This is in addition to the already existing opportunities that we have been promoting in the past in areas such as infrastructure development and agro-processing and garments and textiles and all of the others that as this series of webinars continue, you will hear about. Our UK-based platinum members, Hogan Lovells and Man Laboratories, can testify severally on the benefits that membership of the UKGCC has brought to them. Whilst in Ghana, companies such as Vodafone, who is one of our sponsors today, Strategic Securities Limited, MPS, etc., can also provide wonderful testimonials. In the UK as well, there's the meat sector of the UK's Agriculture and Horticultural Development Board, who we hosted to an incoming trade mission into Ghana last year. And I'm sure they would also talk about how helpful the UKGCC has been to their business growth plans in Ghana. I am conscious of the need to keep within my allocated time, and therefore I'll cut short our tall list of successes. As you can see from the screen, and I would appreciate that we move on to the next slide, you may contact us via the email info@ukgcc.com.gh or follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to keep abreast with our activities. You will discover a store of knowledge as we post all of our presentation slides on all these our social media platforms. And indeed, the slides or the recording of today's presentations will also subsequently be posted on our social media platforms. We also promote our coming events, and should you follow us on social media, you will be able to know which events are virtual for you to participate in. And if you join our chamber as well, for our member companies, we do set up physical events for which you can participate in. Thank you once again for the opportunity to share our work with you. Just like all of you, I look forward to what promises to be a very illuminating conversation on the legal and regulatory ecosystem for business in Ghana with our lineup of esteemed and highly regarded speakers who also happen to be key stakeholders of the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much. Linda.
Many thanks, Ms. Ajoba Chiama, for sharing with us the amazing work being undertaken by the UKGCC for bridging the gap and also for sharing those amazing good news stories with us. We have with us today Mr. Frank Ejekum, who is the Executive Secretary for the Ghana International Trade Commission, ITC. He will now give us some remarks and share with us the role played by the ITC.
Thank you. Yeah, so I was saying, I'm glad to be part of this program, and I welcome everybody else, including the Acting High Commissioner and the organizers of the program. Well, I'm supposed to talk about the Ghana International Trade Commission, which really is a pretty new organization in the country, just about 2 years old. The Trade Commission was set up basically in conformity with World Trade Organization regulations, which enables all countries to set up such commissions to safeguard, among other things, their local industries against unsafe trade practices. Now, unsafe trade practices are the downside of liberal trade or free trade, where companies from abroad tend to dump their products on local countries or on any country at all, if you do allow them, or they subsidize their products in their countries, and then they bring them to countries like ours where they sell at cheaper rates. And the effect of this is that our local industries are unable then to stand where they are competing with them in like products. The effect of all this is that very soon these local companies collapse, and then they have to sack workers, and we go through all the rigmarole of the poverty cycle. So under the WTO regulations, and I must say that trade commissions are found in almost all the developed countries. The surprising thing is that in Africa, apart from Ghana, you just have it in about 3 other countries: South Africa, Egypt, and I think Madagascar. But then this is the downside, because then it means that our local industries, when they set up, very soon they run into competition with these industries, who then begin to dump their products on our countries, and we are unable to compete. And now this is not got to do with the quality of production or because these countries have a better economies of scale than we do have. It's just because it's a deliberate attempt, and that is what is stated in the WTO regulation. These are deliberate attempts by companies from abroad to then flood your markets and make it unable for you to compete. So under those regulations, we are able to then contest these unsafe trade practices and get remedy for our local companies. The interesting thing is that since we set up, we already have about 16 companies complaining, including some foreign companies who are beginning to petition against companies from their own mother countries who, because of their dumping products, are not making them able to stand on their own. So it means that their investments are going waste, and many of them are facing these problems. So this is a real challenge that we face, and I believe that it has come at the right time for Ghana to set up this commission. Also, when you look at the Africa Continental Free Trade area, the protocols in there have also internalized all the aspects of the Trade Commission to enable individual African countries to be able to withstand the onslaught of this dumping and subsidization of products, which really the WTO is against, but which many countries or many industries from abroad do take advantage and bring them to Africa because we do not have the regulations to really stamp out these ones. They then come in and we are unable to grow the way we want to grow. The idea really is not to stop free trade, but it's to make sure that when we talk about free trade, we're not talking about unfair trade. We're talking about trade practices that are free. And if you come in and you are coming in through the right measures, so be it. I mean, for instance, Ghana cannot then begin to dump products on other countries the way they do it, because of course they wouldn't allow those things because they have these safeguard measures to make sure that we are unable to do that. You look at the fight between some of these big countries, America, China, Australia, China, etc. It's all because they have such commissions which really do the investigations and are able to safeguard their local companies. The good thing too is that with the commission in place, it does give satisfaction to investors from abroad to know that once they are set up in Ghana, they are safeguarded against all these things, all such practices, which then negate against them. And as I said, already we have in this country foreign companies which are set up here, which have petitioned us against practices from their home countries. So it tells you how necessary such commissions are for the progress of our nation and our economy, and for all economies in their own countries. So far, since we're set up, we've had a petition that we dealt with Aluwex, which really got to do with the manufacture of coils, aluminum coils and circles. And it's been successful. We have been able to establish that there's dumping in that aspect, in the sense that products are brought in from abroad, from specific countries, which sell at lower prices in Ghana than even in their own countries. The price selling in their own countries are higher than how much they sell in Ghana. So that tells us that there's a clear case to dump these products in Ghana. And so those remedy measures are being taken. I'd want to say this for beginning, and then if there's anything else, I'd want to contribute later.
There. Thank you very much, Mr. Jakuma, Executive Secretary for the Ghana International Trade Commission, for your insightful remarks and for shedding more light on measures being taken to safeguard the burgeoning trade industry in Ghana. Our next remarks will be from the Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Honorable Robert Ahomka-Lindsay. Unfortunately, the Honorable Deputy Minister will be unable to join us today, but he will be represented by Mr. Kofi Addo, Team Leader for the One District, One Factory project at the Ministry for Trade and Industry, who will deliver his remarks.
Yeah, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Acting High Commissioner, Mrs. Matilda Osei Agyemang, the Chief Executive of Ghana International Trade Commission, the Chief Executive of UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce, captains of industries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I wish to welcome all the participants to the Doing Business with Ghana webinar series, organized by the Ghana High Commission in collaboration with the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce. First, let me commend the work of the Ghana High Commission and the UK Chamber of Commerce and other partners for putting this series together, which seek to bring all the frontline trade agencies to discuss issues pertaining to doing business in Ghana. For Ghana to transition to a high middle income status, as we all aspire, it is estimated that we need to grow between 12, 13, 14, or the double digits of our GDP. And if we need to grow double digits, it is also estimated that we need to attract more funding and what is now known as patient funding to be channeled into our private sector development. You can also be able to channel this funding into the private sector if the business ecosystem is working to perfection. And it is good that through this platform, the ministry and other agencies are here to share some of the activities and initiatives that have been rolled on in the country. All these issues and initiatives are earmarked to attract the needed investments into the productive sector of our economy. I am glad to know that over the past 4 or 5 years, the government has shown its total commitment in this direction. For Ghana and to all our potential investors, we are proud to always re-echo the fact that we are a stable political environment and a fair, equitable, and transparent judicial system. In order to harness private sector investment for our industrialization agenda, government is implementing a number of program initiatives. And one is one of the key initiatives that I lead. That is the 1D, 1F. The 1D, 1F concept is just to make sure that Ghana is able to have a lot of manufacturing companies that will be able to create decent jobs, and the underlying principle is value addition. So what we are currently doing under the One District, One Factory is to attract a needed private sector investment into the value addition sector of the country. As we are speaking right now, we have registered 232 companies, 232 companies, with 76 in full operation and 103 in various stages of construction, with 36 having their investment profile being considered by the banks and 13 as also being considered by the participating financial institutions. But the number keeps on growing. The beauty of the 1D, 1F is that government has created the incentive platform that includes 5 years of free corporate tax. We have free exemption for goods and raw materials that you will be importing. And the government also, if the company is 100% Ghanaian owned, you might be able to access what we call interest subsidy from the banks. We have signed an agreement with the participating financial institutions not to charge interest rate above 20%. So if your business plan is submitted to the banks, they will go through with you, and at the end, your interest on the principal should not go beyond 20%. And the beauty is that if, as I did REACO, if your company is 100% Ghanaian owned, then the government will leverage 10% of the interest that you have been charged by the bank. So in total effect, the company or the private sector is paying 10% and the government is paying 10% on the principal. In addition to the one district, one factory, we also have the strategic anchor projects. The strategic anchor projects also underline the fact that if we need to grow in the double digits, we need to have some selected sectors that are going to drive our economic and industrial agenda. Key among these sectors are the automobile industry that I'm sure most of you are aware that now we have the VW coming out with its made in Ghana vehicles. We already have Kantanka, a Ghanaian-known entrepreneur who has for the past 2 years already in the automobile sector. We also have other companies, Toyota and others, who will be coming on stream by the first quarter of next year to manufacture cars in Ghana. All these are earmarked for one thing, to be able to take advantage of the continental free trade for which Ghana is the host of the Secretariat. In addition, we are also talking about the pharmaceutical sector. I'm sure most of you who are familiar with the Ghanaian economy will understand that since the 1970s, Ghana liberalized its pharmaceutical sector. And this has been one sector that is spearheading the economic growth. And it is one sector we also want to make sure that we get more and decent jobs and we're able to bring innovation to this sector. Together with the development of all this, we are also developing what we call industrial parks and zones, special economic zones. I am glad to inform you that only last week, Thursday, His Excellency, the President, was in Kumasi to cut the sword for the development of the Kumasi industrial zone. Funding for this industrial zone has already been sourced. So very soon, we are going to have the Buankra Inland Port coming on stream as one of the flagship and state-of-the-art economic zones in Ghana. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are also implementing what we call business regulatory reform programs, which is being supported by the UK through the DFID. And this reform is to support Ghana's business ecosystem to become more friendly and more attractive. Since we'll be having a session that a colleague of mine will be dealing in this, I just want to say that the BRR initiative is focusing on 7 thematic areas. 1, we want to target reform initiatives. 2, we are looking at the inventory and secure of e-registry of companies. 3, we want to also centralize public consultation portal. 4, there's a rolling review and business regulations. 5, we want to make sure that we have regulatory impact assessment of all policies, laws, and regulations that will be coming on stream in Ghana. And 6, we have targeted regulatory relief. And the last but not the least, to have a permanent public-private dialogue mechanism. It is interesting to know that the banking sector, which was cleaned up, has also manifested into a well-capitalized, better managed, and liquid. And as we are speaking now, the last monetary policy issue that came out indicates that more private sector operators are now having access to liquidity from the banks. So this underlines some of the major initiatives that the government has taken in the banking sector. In addition, the legal framework to fight corruption has been strengthened with the passing into law the Witness Protection Act 2018, Act 959, the Office of the Special Prosecution Act 2018, Act 959, the Right to Information RTI Act 2019, Act 989, and the Companies Act 2019, Act 992, which provides a framework for enacting a beneficial ownership register. In conclusion, Ghana will continue to deepen its business environment to be able to attract the needed investment to support our infrastructure, such as energy, roads, seaports, airports, telecoms, and our railway networks. The Ghana-UK Business Council also provides a high-level institutional mechanism to identify specific constraints to mutual trade, investments, and economic cooperation between the two countries. And it also offers the platform to address any issue for the benefit of both Ghanaians and UK businesses. To our private sector operators in UK, you are welcome to Ghana, where return on investment is very, very competitive and comparable to anywhere in the world. And you are also assured of Ghanaian hospitality, and then you'll have the opportunity to taste the best jollof rice in the whole wide world. Thank you very much, and looking forward to fruitful discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kofi Addo, for delivering the remarks on behalf of the Honorable Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, and for the wealth of information shared about how we can all benefit from the African Continental Free Trade Area, and also for reiterating the fact that Ghana is indeed open for business. And yes, I do agree with you, Ghana Jollof is certainly the best.
My name is Samuel Menya Asakisiedu. I am the Information Technology Manager for Millennium Insurance Company Limited. Millennium Insurance Company Limited is a general business insurance company which has in its businesses motor insurance, fire insurance, anything related to non-life insurance. Millennium has been doing business with Vodafone since 2012 when we started as a company. We've been using their voice and data services. For voice services, we've been using both their fixed line and mobile line services. These services provided by Vodafone has been very reliable, and we've been with them ever since. Fiber to the business is one very interesting service that Vodafone has introduced, which is able to give very reliable data services to the business. It has really helped Millennium Insurance as we run most of our services on it, including our VPN services, which have been very stable and reliable.
Ready?
Located at the center of the world, Ghana is the best investment destination in West Africa and ranks as West Africa's first in the Ease of Doing Business Report 2019. It was projected as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, with a growth rate of 6.8% in 2019, and has been declared as Africa's new bright spot after being ranked 4th in the world and 1st in Africa in the 2019 Global Retail Development Index. As the host of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Ghana is creating the linkages that will make it the gateway to Africa, aided by dynamic policies, a stable political environment, and strong economic fundamentals. It is a land of opportunities, offering businesses across many sectors the potential to flourish. The country is open and accessible to investors and the private sector, providing a peaceful environment and upholding the rule of law. The government of Ghana is confident and optimistic about the positive results in its investment drive through the GIPC. Ghana has 8 million hectares of arable land, well irrigated by a wide network of water bodies, making it a region ready for large-scale mechanized agriculture. The government and major policy planners recognize that expanding the agro-industrial base is the best path to develop. Ghana has put in place the right legal and regulatory framework to increase foreign direct investment. The Industrial Zones Program allows manufacturers and agro-processors to take advantage of favorable tax and duty incentives to produce for exports from Ghana into the EU and US markets. A rich cultural history and wonderful natural beauty makes Ghana a great tourist destination. The Year of Return Tourism and Marketing campaign in 2019 positioned Ghana as a key travel and investment destination for African Americans and people of the global diaspora. The year recorded significant increases in the number of visitors to Ghana. Ghana's growing consumer market is providing compelling reasons for investing in the services sector. The retail sector has been valued at $24.4 billion. A growing middle class with increasing purchasing power is creating demand for a wider variety of sophisticated services in healthcare, finance, and education. In the region, Ghana has one of the highest mobile penetration rates at 140%, with data penetration at 89%. The country has a thriving startup scene, helped by access to broadband internet that runs on fiber optic and 4G networks. The fintech industry is worth over $50 billion. Ghana is an English-speaking nation located in the center of the geographical world, with flight times from Europe or America averaging about 8 hours. Transportation networks in and out of the country have received enhancements in order to aid the ease of doing business. It has a new international airport terminal and an expanded port infrastructure. Tema Port is one of the largest in Africa, with a capacity to handle 3.5 million TEUs. The expansion in the economy is largely due to oil and gas development. Other sustainable sources of power, like solar, wind, and thermal, will significantly increase the country's energy resources. We invite you to share in Ghana's optimism, be part of the incredible opportunities we offer, and be open to the idea to grow in Ghana and grow with Ghana.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, we'll move on to the second part of today's webinar, which is the panel discussion.
I'd like to invite my co-host, Papa Kobatel, to take over.
Thank you very much, Linda. We are going to have people speak to us on the business ecosystem in Ghana. And we're going to start with Mrs. Jemima Owari. Mrs. Owari has over 33 years of experience, and she has been at the fore of reforms at the Registrar General's Department, introducing and implementing the online portal, and most recently introducing e-certificates and digitization of companies, and many more. She comes with a vast experience, and she also serves as a commissioner for Security and Exchange Commission. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Jemima Owari will be speaking to us on the business registration requirements and processes in Ghana.
Will they share my thing?
Hello, Mrs. Owari.
Good morning.
Yeah, the floor is yours now. Yeah, good morning.
Could you please allow me to share my screen, my presentation?
Okay, yes.
If you can put it up. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Mrs. Jemima Owari, as I've been introduced, and I'm the Registrar General of Ghana. I would like to be discussing a very short presentation with you on what you need to know to do business with Ghana. I'll start off with a little introduction. Basically, I'm going to be talking about who we are, the RGD, who we are, and the requirements that you now need to know under the new Companies Act, the business types you can consider when you're coming to register with us, the GIPC capital requirements, the fact that we're a one-stop shop, and all businesses having the need to re-register and update their businesses on our new e-registrar database, as well as providing you online registration services. Most importantly, we've now introduced sanctions. I pray you don't have to fall in the sanctions regime. Let's move on. Okay. Now, Registrar General's Department is the first point of call for every business in this country. And we are responsible for bringing businesses into being, as well as finally dissolving businesses if you are unable to pay your debts as it falls due. And we've also introduced a new act that at least prevents you from going straight away into official liquidation. That is now, we've introduced the insolvency regime. I think it's a far better regime for businesses. Therefore, we are also partners to all the businesses that we register. We are a department under the Office of the Attorney General, and we are the sole institution, as I said, responsible for the initial registration and maintenance of businesses, companies, professional bodies, administration of estates, registration of marriages, and industrial property rights. Our mandate is to ensure an efficient and effective administration of the laws that we govern on our operations, and we are supposed to provide customer-friendly registration services for the compilation of accurate and timely data for national planning, for the business community and the public at large. We have a headquarters in Accra, and our regional offices are now 4. We have Kumasi, Sekondi, Takoradi, Sunyani, and Tamale. These are the laws that we use to govern our operations. The recently passed Companies Act 2019, which repealed the Companies Acts of 1963, which had been in operation for about 56 years. We have the Incorporated Private Partnerships Act, 1962, Act 152, the Registration of Business Names Act, the new Act Corporate Insolvency and Restructuring Act that I mentioned, Act 1015. We registered trademarks under the Trademarks Act, 2004, registration of textile designs and industrial designs. We register patents, we administer estates, we register marriages under CAP 127, that's under the special license, and also register professional bodies. Now, you in the diaspora, having spent so many years outside the country, I know you're very much concerned about coming to contribute your quota towards nation building. The question that should weigh on our minds is, where do we start from? How do we properly assimilate our ideas into the Ghanaian business economy? Because we want to make sure that the president's vision of making RGD a one-stop shop is accessible to you all from wherever you are coming from the diaspora. Now, what do you need to know? First of all, with the establishment or with the passage of the new Companies Act, there is going to be a new office that is going to be hived off the Registrar General's Department, known as the Office of the Registrar of Companies. And this office is going to have a board, an 11-member board that will govern its operations, will no more be under the Ministry of Justice. For now, from this new act, you have your age of majority is now 18 years. It used to be 21 years under Act 179. Now, all companies now, there are 6 types of suffixes that have to end the name of a company now. We have LTD for Private Limited Liability Company. We have PLC for a Public Limited Liability Company. We have PRUC, PRUC for short, for a private and limited liability company. We have PUC, which is a public and limited liability company. We have LBG for a company limited by guarantee, which is private, and then PLBG for a public limited by guarantee company. Now, it has changed. Company secretaries now have to have a professional tertiary minimum qualification under Section 211 of Act 992. You might either have be a lawyer or an accountant, a chartered secretary. You must have maybe studied under a company secretary, and a trainee can be a secretary now. In the past, you used to just appoint anybody at all as your secretary. That has changed. The company secretary is the one who's going to interpret the new Companies Act to the board, ensuring that they comply with all its requirements. Now, directors also now have to make a statutory declaration before they even commence operations to ensure that you have not been involved in any way in fraud or in the insolvency of a company. Now, directors have to attach a consent letter to be a director. We have abolished the minimum equity requirement. Before that used to be there, and swearing before a commission of oath, because we realized that people were not actually carrying this one out. So we do not issue out certificate to commence business anymore. So we have also changed regulations now to a constitution. The law requires that auditors should be changed now after every 6 years, and they have a 6-year cooling off period. All this is supposed to be an enhanced corporate governance regime. We have, as we said, introduced the beneficial ownership declaration. And by this, we mean a beneficial owner is anyone, an individual or natural person who owns, controls, or has interest in, or exercises influence over a legal person or arrangement, or receives a substantial benefit from an individual. This beneficial owner must be an individual and not a company. And now all companies are now required to declare their beneficial owners when they are registering their businesses. The whole idea is it's going to promote transparency and help companies know who they are actually doing business with, and also help in fighting money laundering and tax evasion. Now, business or beneficial ownership forms can be submitted during incorporation, filing of annual returns, and amendments. These are the types of companies under Act 992 I spoke about: company limited by shares, unlimited, by guarantee, external, and all of these 4 types can either be public or private. Now, the business types you can consider as you're coming in, we have sole proprietorships, or one-man business, as we call it. It's all a business name. In this case, you have to be an individual and you must be Ghanaian. You cannot have a foreigner participating in this type of business. Now, you can have a trading name, you can have your own name, but immediately you add any addition to your own name, like maybe Kwesi Mintin or Kweku Osei Ventures, you have to register that kind of name. But if it's just Kweku Osei and that is your own name, you do not need to register. But I'd advise that you register because it gives you formality, it gives you an identity. This type of business, you bear the profits and liabilities alone. Your liabilities are unlimited. You do not need to file any profit and loss accounts. You just renew the business. It's not too expensive, just 25 Ghana cedis, and you can renew it and you will not lapse for me to take you off the register. You can also have a subsidiary business name, which has the same components of a business name, except that it's owned by a limited liability company instead of an individual. Another type of business that we have, okay, for the business name, to register, you require a tax identification number, which is generated by Ghana Revenue Authority. But our systems are linked with Ghana Revenue Authority. So once you log on to our website, you will be able to get this unique tax identification number. The application fee for a business name is just 60 Ghana cedis, and you receive your business name certificate within 3 days, and you get a profile, and it's just 25 Ghana cedis to renew. It will lapse if you do not renew your business name. Another type of registration that we have is a partnership. The partnership is normally formed by 2 to 20 persons carrying on business for the purpose of sharing profits. And you have to attach an agreement or a deed, a partnership deed, that is stamped at the Land Valuation Board in Accra before we can accept it at the department. I guess you in the diaspora, you have to get somebody down here to have this document stamped for you. And once you scan it into the system, we'll accept it. And the partners will manage this partnership on a daily basis themselves. The partnership has a corporate personality and its liabilities are unlimited. You also have corporate succession such that even if a partner dies, the partnership can live on. The other one is the partners have to be jointly and severally liable for the debts of the firm, and no liability for new partners on debts incurred prior to the appointment. There's, however, a liability for retiring partners unless the firm exonerates them. To register a partnership is 160 Ghana cedis. The annual renewal is 50 Ghana cedis, and you should furnish any change to us within 28 days. Another type of registration is a company that I spoke of. It's an association between 2 to 50 people, and we have a set of objectives, and it's normally for profit. The company is the artificial legal person, and as such, they may own property, enter into contracts, sue, and be sued. And it has potentially perpetual succession, since if a member dies, the company can still live on. Once the company goes into bankruptcy or resignation, the company's assets can still be attached. Now, it has a day-to-day affairs and is managed by the directors. It has to be set up with a minimum of 2 directors, one of whom must at all times be resident in Ghana. We must also have a minimum of 1 subscriber or shareholder. Companies limited by guarantee are also companies, except that they are set up not for profit, but for charitable purposes, such as clubs, associations, foundations, NGOs, civil society organizations, churches, but their liability must be limited, and it's either public or private. The external companies are normally companies set out outside this jurisdiction, possibly wherever you are coming from, in the UK, US, wherever you are, it's set up there. But you can have that name entered into our register of companies. And you need a local manager who must be resident in Ghana. And the document you will attach must be notarized by a notary public in the country of incorporation and presented to us in an English language if the document is not in an English language. Now, the basic requirements: you need to be 18, as I said. You need a tax identification number. You need addresses, including a digital address. You need an email, because now it's mandatory. These fields are mandatory now. The constitution is what we need now. First, it used to be the regulation. Now it's a constitution. And you have 6 different types that we put on our website. You need a minimum of 2 directors with consent letters and a statutory declaration. The company secretary also needs to attach a consent letter and have a minimum tertiary professional qualification. You need subscribers, members, or shareholders, beneficial ownership details, auditor's letter of consent. Now, each company, in addition to the stated capital, has to pay 0.5% of that capital as stamp duty. The fees are 330 Ghana cedis, 270 Ghana cedis for guarantee, and each year it's just 50 Ghana cedis to file your annual returns. There are specialized institutions and regulators that we collaborate with that you need to know about. We are collaborating with the Metropolitan Assembly, Municipal Assembly through the digital address now for the business operating permit. In the past, after you register with us, you'd have to go and look for the Metropolitan Assembly and register with them. But now we are linked up through the digital address, and you will get, at the point of registration, a temporary business operating permit, and you can start business with that. And that has cut down the cost and the way of doing business drastically. It used to take 7 days to do get this kind of permit. We also linked up with the Standard Board, Food and Drugs Board. Once you register, you send your information to them. The Ghana Revenue Authority, I already said, we are linked up on a common platform. NBSSI is also there to assist you with skills, training, and soft loans. The Mineral Commission, if you need a license, after you register with us, you need to go there for mining. Ghana Investment Promotion Council, every company that's a foreigner, you need to contact them. And Ghana Free Zones Board, some would want to go through the free zones. You need to get information from us. And a Pharmacy Council, if you're going into the pharmaceutical sector, you need a license from them. For GIPC, you know already, the foreign participation, you need, if you're coming to register with us and you have a foreign partner, the foreign partner has to cough up a minimum of $200,000 US. That kind of money is not going to be given to us. That kind of money has to be reflected on your documents. And is the foreigner alone that has to contribute this kind of amount to the company. The Ghanaian partner has to have a minimum of 10% of the total capital. But that Ghanaian partner should not take part of the $200,000. So you're just going to pay stamp duty on this money after it's been converted into Ghana cedis. After you've registered this company with us, we'll give you the documents. You go to a bank, you open the bank account and transfer this foreign exchange through that bank account before you get, register with GIPC and get the minimum equity quota that you need to do business in Ghana and get, incentives. Where it's a wholly owned foreign entity, $500,000 US is the minimum that you have to register with us. Again, I said you have to transfer that into Ghana cedis on our forms. Where it's trading and it's wholly owned, or even you are with a Ghanaian, the minimum equity for the foreigner alone is $1 million US. Now we are a one-stop shop, so we have merged with GRA for TIN. RGD will give you the business registration, MDA for the business operating permit, and then SNIT also gets our data after we complete the registration. This is our online registration that you need to be aware of. You can just go on to, please, this is very important. This is where you can really get your companies registered. You create a portal account using a valid email and a tax identification number. You are supposed to log on to our portal, www.rgdeservices.com, with your tax identification number and the password that will send your email. You can proceed to register any of the 6 entity types I've mentioned, plus the business names and all the types I've mentioned. And you can pay, making your payment through Visa card, MasterCard, mobile money, via Ghana.gov payment platform, or via USSD. And upon approval, wherever you are, you can generate electronic certificates and profiles from our portal. And for existing businesses, I'll remind you all to update the information in our system, what we call re-registration. Every business registered from 1968 up to 2011, if you have not updated, please do that, because I'm putting out names and I will start striking off. Please ensure that you get tax identification numbers for all your offices and ensure that you submit your old documents, and we will give you a new certificate. And at the touch of a button, every information that anybody wants to find out about you, you can get from our database. Companies have to file their annual returns up to date and attach financial statements, and sole proprietors have to renew annually. Now, these are the benefits. You're going to get access to financial services from banks. You attract institutional customers. You get opportunity to bid for public contracts. You can access support schemes. You can access existing tax incentives. You can be branded and can be recognized and have visibility. So I'm just praying that you stick to these obligations I've given to you, and it should be all done within 28 days. And these are the sanctions. Now it's quite a number of them I repeat in the Act 2019, Act 992. You can prevent all this by providing information on time. Don't provide us false or misleading information. And the sanctions are both fines and prison terms, and I do not wish that for any of you. So please just ensure that you do what you have to do. Acquire the TIN from GRA, acquire your digital address from Ghana Post, download our forms from these sites I've given to you, provide valid email and phone contact numbers, and then you can get registered with RGD. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Owari. You have walked us through the laws, the new requirements. There I was excited because I heard PRUC and PUC. These are new words that you've introduced that I know, and the professionalism that is required, and the business types, the specialized institutional regulators, and the re-registration for companies that exist, and some of the benefits. Thank you very much for this excellent presentation. We'll now go to our next speaker, who is Mr. Ashon Lartey. Mr. Ashon Lartey has over 30 years of experience working with the GIPC, and he's very, well versed in issues of investment and business development. And so without much ado, I would call on Mr. Ashon Lartey to speak to us on the issues concerning the establishment of business in Ghana and the current regulations that we should be expecting.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Ashon. You can come on.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Bartels, and good morning, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the GIPC Ghana on the Go video, which I think explain why you should think of Ghana as a place to do business. My presentation this morning will be on our mandate as an institution, how we collaborate with other institutions, the steps we need to go through to register, and the incentives and benefits that we currently have. On the business regulatory reforms, I think Mr. Kofi Addo has done my job for me, but I'll see if I can add one or two, especially with regard to the GIPC Act. Now, the GIPC is a government agency, and our mandate is to promote and coordinate investments in the Ghanaian economy. We have been around since 1964, and we've gone through several changes, and the latest act is the GIPC Act 865 of 2013, and as some of you might have heard, we started the process to review the act. Is ongoing, and so you can all look forward to a new act in the very near future. Now, some of the functions, our functions include investment advisory services. So if you want to go into business and you come to GIPC, we have sector specialists who will engage you, and then depending on your area of interest, will direct you appropriately. We also register new investment projects. Renew these projects. You heard Madam Jemima talking about filing your returns. For us, you renew your GIPC certificate every 2 years. We also process immigrant quota and exemption part of our investment facilitation. We also assist with joint ventures. So if you want to partner a Ghanaian or a foreigner, we have what we call the project catalog, which contains profiles on various projects. And this is also on our website, so you can access this if you're looking for specific business opportunities in the country. We also provide investor aftercare, which is very important for us because if you come into the country and we don't touch base with you from time to time and you run into problems, I think you tell the next person who wants to come to Ghana that please don't bother to come because the GIP will just leave you to your fate. So this is something that we take seriously. We also register technology transfer agreements. This is to ensure that if someone uses your technology or your trademark or patent, you'll be paid for the use of these intellectual property rights. We also negotiate bilateral investment treaties. And in terms of cooperation with the private sector, we engage through the Chamber of Commerce and the AGI just to make sure that we have a point of reference when we are dealing with Ghanaian businesses. It also helps us when we are arranging business-to-business meetings with potential investors from abroad, just like our people in the diaspora. And that's what we do. And in terms of the institutions that we work with, of course, the Registrar General's Department, that is where you create the legal entity. We have the Ghana Free Zones Authority, the Minerals Commission, the Environmental Protection Agency, the banks, the ministries, and the Ministry of Trade and Industry. We work closely with them. The Ghana Immigration Service, I see Mr. Luote's name, he'll tell you more about what they do. but it's just to make sure that people have the appropriate permit to stay in Ghana and work. And then the private sector associations, the AGI, that is the Association of Ghana Industries, the Chamber of Commerce, Chamber of Mines, and the Private Enterprise Federation. So with all these stakeholders, GIPC is able to provide enhanced services to the business community. Now, Ghana as a country, we have a lot of resources, and these translate into very interesting business opportunities. Unfortunately, my slide is not up there. Mr. Bartels will share the slides with you later on, but we can look at agro-processing. Mr. Kofi Addo talked about 1D, 1F, and this is adding value to our resources. Ghana is primarily an agricultural country, and we want to move away from just exporting the raw produce to adding value. And so agro-processing is a key area that we are promoting. We are also promoting tourism. We have a lot of potential tourist attraction sites, but we need to package these ones and then market them to potential investors. We're also looking at the pharmaceutical industry. We want to make Ghana the pharmaceutical hub in the sub-region. We are looking at cocoa processing. I'm sure the story of cocoa has been told over and over again, but it's important that we emphasize the fact that we want to add more value. You export the beans, and then you import the chocolates at a higher price. So the value actually stays out there, and we hold the short end of the stick. We want to change this situation. And then infrastructure. I mean, we have some big ticket items. I just saw a question from a company in terms of railways and solutions. We are looking at schools, hospitals, roads, bridges. So depending on your area of interest, the GIPC will be available to discuss how you can successfully implement your business interest in the country. Now, in terms of setting up, we say we have 3 easy steps. Mrs. Owari has talked about the first one, that is registering with the Registrar General's Department. And the next step is to bring in the minimum equity, that is if there's foreign participation in the business, and then you come and register with the GIPC. Now, in terms of the minimum foreign equity, which Jemima mentioned, this can either be in the form of cash or equipment, or a combination of the two. So if it's cash from the Registrar General's Department, you go to a bank of your choice and open an account and have this money wired into the country. The SWIFT message must clearly indicate the purpose, that is equity investment in a business, a particular business. And this must be changed into cedis. I've seen people coming in, bringing lots of money, but then paying directly to vendors in foreign currency. And this is not the proper procedure as prescribed by the central bank. So please, if you are coming into the country, make sure the money is transferred through the bank, it is changed into cedis, then you can use it for your business expenses. Or you may decide to bring in equipment. So if you clear the items through the port, you will take the customs assessed value of the equipment. So with either the confirmation from the central bank or the customs document, you can then come and register with the GIPC. There are, however, some exceptions to the minimum foreign equity requirement. If you are into manufacturing or export trading, we mean buying locally produced goods for export, you are exempted from this minimum requirement. The next activity is where you engage in portfolio investments. The third category is for dual nationals. So for people in the diaspora, if for one reason you have to obtain a foreign passport, a dual nationality law is in place. Once again, I think Mr. Lotte from the Ghana Immigration Service can speak to that. You don't have to bring in the minimum equity. And then the last category is for foreign spouses. So if you're married to a Ghanaian and you've been resident in Ghana for at least 5 years, you are also exempted from the minimum foreign equity requirement. And the registration at the GIPC takes a maximum of 5 days, as stated in the GIPC Act. And now you can also do your registration online So even if you're in the UK and you have all the documents, you can send the application to the GIPC portal. Then we will process your application for you. In terms of the incentives, what we have, and I always like using that as a first incentive, is the security and guarantee of your investment. The GIPC law guarantees against expropriation of your business. That is also in our constitution. So once you are legally registered and doing legal business, you can be sure that no one will touch you. The next incentive is the guarantee that you can repatriate your profits and dividends through the banking system. You don't need to find other ways to send your money out. Once you have cleared the profits, paid the appropriate taxes, you can go to your bank and then transfer your dividends. If you decide to raise funds from abroad to finance part of your investment, you are allowed to transfer funds on due dates to service the loan. That is the principal and interest. And here again, there must be a proper paper trail. So the money is wired into the country. The bank is made aware of the inflow. This is also converted into cedis. You use it for your business. On due dates, you make your cedis available to the bank and they'll provide the foreign exchange cover. If you decide that you've had enough of Ghana, that is, you've made so much profit and you want to opt out, you can liquidate your interest and transfer the proceeds through the banking system. So in terms of how to get your money in and out, you need not worry. We have excellent structures in place. As most of you can attest to, our banks are doing a fantastic job when it comes to international business transactions. The next item I'd like to touch on is the duty exemption on plant, machinery, and equipment. Now, this provision in the law, as stated, is for plant, machinery, and equipment. It does not cover consumables. So sometimes people bring in consumables or raw materials and expect that they will be granted exemption on these items. The law is quite specific when it comes to just plant, machinery, and equipment for your business. And then in terms of expatriate employment, the GIPC Act makes provision for companies to bring in expatriates under what we call the automatic quota system. And this is tied to the level of investment. So if you can prove an investment of between 50 to 250,000 US dollars, you can bring in one person, 250 to 500,000 two, 500 to 700,000 three, and above 700,000 US dollars, 4 people. And these are more or less permanent slots as long as the company is in business. If the beneficiary leaves, you can replace him. Now, we also recognize that for some businesses, you may not need $500,000 or $700,000, but you need the services of some expertise not readily available in Ghana. So in this situation, you can apply for time-bound work permits. You tell us why you want that person to be here. And the expectation is that during his period in Ghana, he will train Ghanaians to take over when he leaves. And then this, as I said, is time-bound. So you tell us it's 1 year, 2 years, or 18 months. And then we will write a letter of support to the Ghana Immigration Service. And it will go before Mr. Lotte to approve or consider our request. Now, say back to Kofi Addo, he talked about under the 1D1F, looking at this. One area that is of interest is the agro-processing sector, where you pay a concessionary rate of 1% for the first 5 years of your operation. And then depending on where you are located, you pay a reduced rate. Now, the standard corporate tax rate is 25%. But if you're in Accra, after the first 5 years, you pay a reduced rate of 20%. If you're in the other regional capitals, except the 5 northern regions, you pay 15%. If you're outside these regional capitals, you pay 10%. And if you're in the 5 northern regions, you pay 5% corporate tax. So this is another attractive incentive for you to go into the agro-processing sector. There's also a provision for you to carry forward your losses for 5 years. We don't have tax holidays under the current GIPC Act, but these interventions can help you to reduce the tax that you pay at the end of the day. Now, for manufacturing industries, and now for those who are looking at the 1D1F, program, you can look forward to a tax rebate of 25% if you're outside Accra, and 25% and 50% if you're outside the other regional capitals. And then the last one that I'd like to talk about is the strategic investment incentives. And this is for the big ticket items, that is $50 million and above. And under Section 26(4) of the GIPC Act, you are allowed to negotiate the type of incentives that you would like to have. So you submit a business plan with a wish list, that is the type of incentives you'd like to have. And you also include what the nation will also benefit if these incentives are granted. And then there's a technical committee which will review this before it goes to the board, the presidency, and finally Parliament. So it's a very clear, transparent process. You don't have to be my friend to be able to go through the process. I always tell people it's clear. So just make sure you follow the guidelines, and then you'll be home and dry. So this is where I'd like to pause. But before that, just for the UK investors from 2010 to 2020 half year, we had registered 179 projects with UK business interest, and the estimated FDI value is 1.376 billion. Being our traditional partner, I believe that come next year or through this series, we'll have more UK businesses coming to invest in Ghana. And for the diasporans, a lot is happening in Ghana. And Tuesday, we'll have the Diasporan Business Breakfast. I'll send the flyer to Paco so that you can share this, and then you can also join in and see what Ghana has to offer to the diasporans. This is part of the Beyond the Return program. Last year, we had the Year of Return, and after that, we have this Beyond the Return program. So Business Breakfast is one of the activities, in connection with Beyond the Return. So Paco, I'll send this to you, and then you forward it to the participants. On this note, I would like to pause, and if there are any questions, I will answer them during the Q&A period. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eddie. That was very impressive. You've walked us through practically everything, and at least you've given us the things that we should consider in coming to Ghana to establish a business. Thank you. What we have next is a person that I know so well who is coming to talk to us on the Business Regulatory Reforms portal. Ghana has put in place a portal that will facilitate, the doing business or easing of the doing business in Ghana. And the right person to do this for us is Mrs. Dinah Afriyie-Addo, who leads the team on business regulatory reforms. So, Dinah.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bartels. And thank you, Ghana High Commission, for the opportunity given to us to introduce the portal to you. And then thank you, UKCC. Ajaba, we are here to meet, we need to meet. So thank you all for the presentations that we've listened to so far. Kofi has mentioned a lot of things when it comes to business regulatory reforms. And Mrs. Owari has talked about some of the reforms we are working with RGD to do. Mr. Ashon has also talked about investments and other things that you need to do if you want to invest in Ghana. With the portal, one thing that we want to make doing business easy for all of us. I always say that there's a need for all of us to get people, even the locals, to be able to have confidence in the system, to invest in the system. Outsiders coming also to invest will help create jobs, will make the environment, the economy, best place for all of us. So this unit, business regulatory unit, we are coordinating most of that. We are working with all sorts of agencies. We are working with ECG, we are working with Fire Service, we are working with EPA, we are working with Lands Commission. Very soon, if you are going to do a search, you wouldn't need to go to Lands Commission office. You can do it online. And we are working with RGD, as I've said. So there are a number of things that we are working with other institutions to do to make doing business easy for all of us. And the main aim of this project or program is to make Ghana the most business-friendly in Africa. That is the main aim of the program.
Okay,
we are currently,
Diana, when you are ready for us to show the slides, then you let us know. Then
okay, so you can start showing the slides.
Okay.
Currently, we are being supported by DFID, and the what do you call it? DFID project is coming on December. Ghana government and World Bank, we are continuing the project from December. So this is the background. The project started in 2017. So you can go down, Mr. Battles.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, these are the outputs or the components of the BL that Kofi mentioned. So I'm not going to go details in all these areas. What I'm going to say is that, our concentration today is on the portal. The portal is two portals combined. We have e-registry and then we have consultation portal. Why are we doing e-registry? We know we have GIPC, we know we have Registrar General's Department, we have a lot of institutions that their programs or the activities they are doing have impact on the community, the business community. So to make it easy for all of us to be able to access information, we've created this portal, e-registry portal, and then consultation portal. We put together, we call it Ghana Business Regulatory Portal, BRR. Yes, please go down for me. So on this portal, what you are going to have is all the regulations, that's the e-registry, all the regulations, all the laws, administrative notices, forms, procedures, and everything that you need to do. Let's say we want to register a company in Ghana. You click, how do I register company in Ghana? And then it will take you to, let's say, go to Registrar General's Department. Somebody was asking a question, how do I get my TIN? So if you put in the names of such things, you get the institution that you have to get your TIN from, or the company that you can register from. You get all those things from the portal. That's the e-registry. So any regulation, anything that you want to do, let's say pharmaceutical, you want to do something, you want to get information on pharmaceutical. If I want to establish a pharmaceutical company in Ghana, what do I do? If I want to go into cocoa sector in Ghana, what do I do? All that you have to do is go to the portal, click search, or mention pharmaceutical, or mention cocoa, and then you get all the regulations on the, what do you call it? The cocoa industry you want to enter. You want to establish something in maybe a district assembly. All that you have to do is, how do I do this in a particular district assembly? And then you get the bylaw to be able to guide you. And then we have the consultation portal. This consultation portal has been created for me and you. Most of the time, all that we hear is, those of us at the diaspora, we don't get the chance to make inputs into policies, formulations, or regulation. But at the end of the day, whether you live here or you live outside, the activities, the things that we do impact on you. I always say that although we are public servants, everything that we do, we are beneficiaries. So if you do it well, we gain. If you don't do it well, we don't gain. So at the end of the day, if you are outside and the policy is being formulated in this country and you participate, you'll be able to contribute what will shape the policy and what also will help You own the policy. Sometimes there are some comments that come from people in diaspora that if you ask, is this person a Ghanaian? Because you don't feel part of formulation of policies here, you feel disassociated. And therefore, we are making it possible for you to go onto the portal, sign up, and then anytime any policy or regulation in relation to businesses, for now it's in relation to businesses, is coming up, you get opportunity to also contribute. For the e-registry, as I said, it's only business regulations in this country that you can find. So if you, the app there before this slide, you see search. You put in the search engine and then you see everything. Mr. Batos, please go down for me. Yes, that is the features of the portal. So after this, anybody who wants to know more about the portal, please, you can contact me. Because of limited time, we can't do presentation here. We are going to institutions. Very soon, we'll be organizing a Zoom with Foreign Affairs and our business communities or the foreign missions to be able to explain how the portal works. So if you want to understand the portal, contact me later and I'll work you through with the IT specialist as well. So this is the consultation part I was talking about. Mr. Battles. Yes. So yeah, we can go down. Okay, so this is the website for the BRR. The two portals are together, www.brr.gov.gh. So if you go there, you see the two portals, the consultation and the e-registry. E-registry, as I've said, is more of information. So anything that you want to get, any information you want to get in relation to business registration or operations in Ghana, you will get it there. The procedures, we are still working with RGD, we are working with GIPC, we are working with all the institutions. So very soon, if you go onto the portal, what you get is, you won't leave if you get to know that maybe I can register the company in Ghana to RGD. You don't have to leave the portal to be able to go to RGD to be able to do their registration. We are working with them to have interface so that on the portal, if you know I have to go to, let's say, Food and Drugs Board, you go straight away to Food and Drugs Board to do everything that you want to do. So there'll be that linkages that will make it easy for the business community to look for information and also do whatever is expected of them. And as part of this, we are reviewing all the regulations. We are working with a law firm to review all the regulations that have negative impact on SMEs. And some are also contradictory, you know, so we are working with all this, reviewing all these laws to make doing business very easy and comfortable for me and you. So Mr. Battles, that is the portal so far. So for the presentation on the portal, as I said earlier, anybody who wants to get more information on the portal, please let's talk after this, and then we'll do presentation to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ado. That was brilliant. You've walked us through the portal, and I think that this is particularly important for people in the diaspora who really want to know about business. Thank you very much. We enjoyed it. Next, to speak to us is Mr. William Pullen. He's the Executive Director of Invest in Africa. And Willie will speak to us looking at the productive capacity of small businesses in driving improved trade and FDIs in Ghana. Willie, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Papa, and thank you all honourable guests and all dignitaries that are with us today. I wanted to start just by perhaps stating the obvious of the importance of SMEs, and I take that as a given, and everyone's conscious of that. They represent over 70% of Ghana's GDP in a recent report that was found, and well over half of formal sector employment, and of course, pretty much all of the informal sector employment. So SMEs matter, as simple as that. They're easily ignored and sometimes complicated to support and work with, but they hugely matter. And no country, not just Ghana, no country, including the UK, will thrive and create jobs and stability without a growing and well-supported SME sector. So SMEs are critical. And to you as an investor or to an organization looking to work in Ghana, they will become critical to you too, either as a partner that you may need to make on the ground to deliver your goods and services, perhaps through joint ventures, but certainly through your supply chain at some point in your operations. So across the spectrum, SMEs matter a huge amount. And that's what we do at Invest in Africa. We work all day, every day to support Ghanaian SMEs, and we will operate in other countries too, and support them with the main challenges we see for SMEs holding back their capacity and their production capabilities, which is what I've been asked to speak on today. And those challenges fall into three main buckets. And first one is access to market information. So understanding how does a market work, the dynamics, how do you even get into the market, essentially building a knowledge base and a network that will allow them to then do business. The second one is skills, typically around certification, standards, particularly those needed to work with international companies and investors. And the third is finance. And I won't surprise you, the challenges in accessing more affordable finance to invest into their business. That could be growth capital or CapEx finance. So access to market information, access to skills, and access to finance. Those are the three big areas that come up time and time again. And again, not just in Ghana. And that's why Invest in Africa focuses its time and effort on trying to address those. So if you are doing business in the country or considering it and you want to understand how to be best ready to have a soft landing and fast track your businesses, then we're very happy to help and to speak to you. But why does all this matter beyond just that? I think we've heard about one district, one factory and the policies, and these aren't just policies thought of to drive investment for the sake of it. Ultimately, these need to create jobs. And that's what this is really all about, job creation, and especially looking at how we can empower tomorrow's leaders. Women and youth-led businesses in particular fall into that category. So as an investor, you need to be prepared to come to Ghana with that sort of a mindset, not thinking what can Ghana do for me, but what can you do with Ghana or for Ghana? And how can you fit into the wider socioeconomic narrative that is being driven by government policy? So where do you start as an investor? Well, when I look at there's an excellent recent report a few years ago from the International Trade Center with the AGI, which is available online. And it pulls out some of the areas where SMEs typically struggle. And these will fall into those three buckets of skills, markets, and finance that we work on. And the first one is they highlight is a lack of unique products. The second one is lack of access to electricity and ICT skills and services. The third is the high interest rates we've mentioned. And the fourth is lack of certification. But I think before all of that, what really matters to SMEs in Ghana is the understanding of what it takes to do business successfully with internationals and with investors. And what needs to change before any of those things is the mindset. And very often we find that the SMEs we work with will be thinking about themselves as what some people call a tenderpreneur rather than entrepreneur. And they're looking to be doing a little bit of everything. They don't want to miss out on an opportunity. So they'll end up spreading themselves too thinly. And rather than being focused and true to themselves, and there won't be a clear business plan about what it is they can do and do well. So they end up doing lots of things okay, rather than one or two things to a globally competitive standard. That then limits their capacity to scale up, it limits their access to finance, and it's a spiral of going round and round in circles. So the first thing we look for is SMEs that will have that right mindset and take them from being a tenderpreneur, trying to run around, grab every and any opportunity, to a real entrepreneur. The other thing that we look for is SMEs who are open to working more collaboratively with international investors, for example. And too often the entrepreneur mindset is dominated by the idea that they must do it all alone. And there's this idea that they must be the solo captain and they must take the business from nothing through to everything without giving up any equity, for example. So very often it's worth bearing in mind looking for partners and SMEs who have that more open mindset and realize that 1% of $1 million is better than 100% of nothing. So that's another one to look out for, the open mindset. And we're looking also for opportunities to bring technology into their lives. We run a platform as well, which connects investors to SMEs. We call it the African Partner Pool. And it's a simple tool, but a small way that we can demonstrate that technology, when leveraged correctly, really can transform SMEs' competitiveness and capacity to scale up. So technology has a huge role to play, not only in digitizing the economies, but also in financial inclusion, which links back to the access to finance point. And then on the indirect FDI side of things, I think people often feel that the assumption is made that all FDI is good, and you just drive more FDI and everything will be okay. But there's different types of FDI, and you can look at many African countries have increased FDI over the last few years and have not driven the same amount of job creation potential. So there must be FDI that drives job creation, because that is what will stimulate economic growth and resilience. And then similarly, you look at trade. Now, trade and FDI are not the same thing. And you could increase trade, but not necessarily increase the competitiveness of SMEs. So you need to be, we need to collectively work on trade that has a value-adding country, and where Ghana is not just passing through the benefit to a third party or to a foreign nation state. And there must be value add in Ghana for the SMEs to increase their capacity and production capabilities. When we put this on the ground and we say, well, what does all of that mean? For us at Invest in Africa, things like the Africa Free Trade Agreement that's already been mentioned represented huge opportunities, and Ghanaian SMEs should be looking at that very seriously and trying to understand where can they benefit. And that doesn't mean they have to be ready on January the 1st when it goes live. It's going to be a long road. There's going to be many years, I would imagine, of implementation. But there is a huge opportunity there for Ghana as a country and SMEs in particular to look at trade and investment opportunities that previously would have been much more inaccessible. The fact that Secretariat is down the road, clearly they're wise people. They've chosen the best capital in Africa to base the Secretariat in. So it's right there. It's on your doorstep and should be leveraged by trade associations and ministries in country to give Ghana the best possible head start on the free trade agreement. The other area of that we can't not talk about when we talk about competitiveness and production of SMEs, of course, is COVID and what's happened over the last year or so. And if there's one thing we've learned is the over-reliance on foreign based supply chains is dangerous and risky and costly. And it's an opportunity now to deepen and strengthen local supply chains. And that's the sort of day-to-day work that we do in helping local SMEs access supply chains and be competitive within them. So there needs to be a combination of local and foreign investment opportunities, but onshoring, as it's called, bringing those supply chains back into Africa and into Ghana will be an important part of the journey of raising competitiveness and production. And if you want an example of that, there is, for sort of example, during the border closures over COVID, I think we all saw the over-reliance of supply chains, and particularly you look at the pharmaceutical industry in Ghana. I believe, thanks to our excellent research team in the Ghana office, they highlighted to me that the industry was estimated to be $600 million with a CAGR of 13.9. However, local production supplies were only 33% of all national essential medical requirements. So the support recently has been coming in, and I think the UK Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office have helped Ghana's pharmaceutical companies address immediate vulnerabilities. But longer term, those sorts of gaps in supply chains and the offshoring of them, again, is a huge opportunity for SMEs in Ghana and investors to help them make that journey. So I think that captures the key points for me. It's about the investor community understanding the crucial role that SMEs play and being prepared to support them as they go on their journey of development and not looking at it through a lens of what can I make out of this, but rather what can we make together and grow the SME community and ultimately create the jobs that both government and civil society need and want to see. Thank you for your time, and I'm very happy to take any questions at the end. And thank you again to the Ghana UK Chamber of Commerce and High Commission and GIPC for organising this. I would just close off by saying that those organisations alone and not include ourselves provide ample support to investors who may be looking at Ghana for the first time. So there really are no excuses, and it's a great place to do business, and we are very proud to call it home for our team there. So thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, William. Excellent presentation. You've spoken about access to the market, access to skills, and access to finance. And you've put in a caveat for us to be careful with FDIs. Not all FDIs will drive jobs. Brilliant. Thank you very much. And you said a lot. When we go into the Q&A session, other things will follow.
My name is Samuel Menya Asakisiedu. I am the Information Technology Manager for Millennium Insurance Company Limited. Millennium Insurance Company Limited is a general business insurance company which has in its businesses motor insurance, fire insurance, anything related to non-life insurance. Millennium has been doing business with Vodafone since 2012 when we started as a company. We've been using their voice and data services. For voice services, we've been using both their fixed line and mobile line services. These services provided by Vodafone has been very reliable, and we've been with them ever since. Fiber to the business is one very interesting service that Vodafone has introduced, which is able to give very reliable data services to the business. It has really helped Millennium Insurance as we run most of our services on it, including our VPN services, which have been very stable and reliable.
Ready?
Hello. So we are going into the Q&A session now, and I'm going to do it with Linda, my co-moderator. We've had lots of questions, some very applicable to what we've discussed, and others we probably would have to take it in the next webinars. But we would want to start off with a question to Mrs. Owari. And it's a simple, straightforward question. You said a lot in your presentation, but there is this question about, let's say I'm a diasporan, I live in the UK, I don't directly have access to any Ghanaian per se, but I really want to come do business in Ghana. What should be the approach to registering my business and then going along the flow to establish myself in Ghana?
Thank you very much for the question. I gave 6 types of companies the diasporan could register. For a company that is a limited liability company, you need a minimum of 2 directors. One must at all times be resident in Ghana. So even though you live in the diaspora, you would have to have at least a director that is resident in Ghana. And if it is not a company, an external company, for instance, you're registered out there, you want to have a presence in Ghana, you would need a local manager that is resident in Ghana. Unfortunately, that is the only way you can do business in Ghana. You would need at least a representative that is resident here. The rest of you can be outside. I don't know if I've answered your question. You definitely need a representative in Ghana.
You have, but so for instance, if I'm not Ghanaian, I'm say a Jamaican, and I want to do that.
Yes.
Yes, I'm Jamaican living in the UK.
Yes.
But given what we've been talking about in terms of the return, and then beyond the return, how can I go about that? Because I don't know a Ghanaian.
But that's the only way, sir. It doesn't have to be a Ghanaian. Okay. It has to be somebody resident in Ghana.
Okay.
That's the key thing. It doesn't have to be a Ghanaian. You must have somebody that is permanently resident in Ghana. Because the whole idea is we must be able to get to you if we need to get to you. If you're outside the jurisdiction, it's going to be a problem for us. So either as a limited liability company or as an external company. A Jamaican, a foreigner cannot register a business name. The laws do not allow that. A Jamaican cannot register a partnership. So the only two vehicles you can use is either a limited liability company by shares or by guarantee, or an external company. Those are the only three vehicles you can use. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Linda, you have any question?
Yes, I do. I've got one here for Mr. Ashon Lartey from GIPC. And our participant is asking, why are the training service companies such as professional customer services often not considered as part of the ingredients needed for businesses to flourish? I believe this is an observation from a participant. So first of all, can you let us know if that's actually the case, and if it is, why so?
Now, the law is clear on what you need to do to establish a business in Ghana. Well, if I understand you correctly, you mean service providers for businesses?
Yes, so the training, the companies that offer customer service training.
Yeah, I mean, they are free to offer their services to businesses in the country. But what we are doing at the center is to establish a professional services directory. This will be uploaded on our website, so companies can visit our website if you're looking for specific companies to provide specific training needs. You can get some of these on our website. So it's something that we are looking at. I mean, in terms of delivering enhanced services to our stakeholders, the investment community, we work with our stakeholders. So, for instance, if we talk about the private sector associations, we like to deal with companies who are registered members of the private sector association. So if there's a company offering training services and it's registered with either the chamber or the AGI, I'll be more comfortable dealing with that company or recommending that company than a company. I'm not sure, at least with the private sector, there's a point of reference. So service providers, you are more than welcome to assist in growing businesses in the country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ashon Lartey. So it is an area of focus for us then. Thank you. Papa Cole.
Thank you, Linda. Mrs. Ado, there's a very interesting question for you.
Yes.
Somebody is asking if regulations, protocols, and licensing of sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, is it part of what you're doing, or it is part of a trade body membership and regulation recognition in Ghana? It's a bit tricky. I thought that it falls within the domain of Ministry of Agriculture, but if you can quickly chip in something, yes.
Yeah, for aquaculture, it's under Agric, Ministry of Agric, and it's anything related to business. All right, so if you are coming to register a business, how do you go about it? And then the information that you need to be able to establish, maybe you have to go to Ministry of Agric we can support you get more information. For now, I don't have the regulations on aquaculture. I don't have the regulations now. So as you've raised it, we also follow it up, because any regulation that's related to business, we are uploading them as we move on onto the portal.
Thank you. I just wanted to do a quick follow-up. So, but on your portal, you did say that if I keyed in, say, sustainability, aquaculture, and things like that, the key institutions that you need to go to will just pop up, and then you can go there. That's what it is.
Yeah, if the key regulations,
okay,
the regulation will pop up, because they've cross-referencing the regulations for the laws for us. So if you mention, let's say, cocoa, all regulations in relation to cocoa will pop up. So you will select the one that you are looking for, depending on the information. However, if you want to read the whole act you'll find the whole act on the portal.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I've got one here for Mrs. Owari. Do the requirements you stated apply to the media industry, NGOs, schools, and recruitment businesses in Ghana?
Thank you, Linda. Yes, it does. For the NGOs, those are normally companies limited by guarantee. But for newspapers and, what did you say? Did you say sports? Newspapers, any other kind?
And recruitment businesses.
Yes. Remember, I said there are two types. As a school, you can either be profit-making or non-profit making. So if you are profit-making, that is going to be a private company limited by shares or a public limited company limited by shares, because depending on what kind of constitution you want. Or you can be a business name if you're a Ghanaian and not a foreigner. Yes, it applies to all those types of entities. You just have to let me know which type of business you want to register, then I'll give you the right vehicle. So that is how I'll answer it, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Owari. So for those interested in other sectors, just be very clear about the specific sector, and then you would get the relevant information.
Yeah, I will.
Papa Colbertels, have you got any more questions?
Thank you. There's another interesting one here too. I think that I'll direct it to William, but I think Ajoba may also be able to respond to this. It says, the person would like to know UK companies that are in the energy sector and are looking for partners in Ghana, local partners in Ghana, to do business. That's yeah, energy and specifically talking about sustainable energy.
Sure, we can certainly help them with that. Papa, if they want to contact our Ghana office, all the details are on our website at investinafrica.com. They can get in touch directly and we can help. I'm sure the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce will also have some people listed with them who can probably help too. So between us, I'm sure we can help that person if they contact both organizations. Probably a good start.
Okay.
I do have one here that, again, could go to either Will or Ajoba. Our participant is asking, do we currently have the infrastructure that enables Ghanaian companies to offer direct consulting and advisory services in the UK?
Interesting. When they say infrastructure, did they say any more? Do they mean soft or hard?
No, but I'm assuming they're probably covering both.
Yeah, to my knowledge, there's no reason why not. I mean, you have excellent Ghanaian law firms like AB David and Law registered in both markets and across others actually, and doing business in both. as a legally registered practitioner. So I see no reason why not.
Okay, thank you. And if they need to find such information, would that be available on your website, or where can they access such information?
Not specifically for consultancies or consultants. I would advise them to look at a consultancy, a UK body that represents consultants. I don't know their formal name, but there is one. And perhaps there is information there about foreign access to markets for foreign consultants.
Okay, thank you very much, Will.
Hi, Linda. So I think I can answer to that question. This is one of the services that we offer at the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce. If the questioner could contact us, we'll be able to directly respond to that. We have a list of people or consultants that we can recommend. We have some registered member companies that provide this service, both within the UK and in Ghana. And so we would then be able to do some business matchmaking for that individual. On the question of renewable energy, UK business in Ghana, we actually do have one member in that area. And so that individual who asked that question can also contact us, and we'll be able to put them in touch with that member company that is in the area of renewable energy. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Ajoba. Very, very in-depth responses from yourself and Will there. Thank you very much. Papa Ko, have you got any more questions for us?
I think that we are running out of time, so we would. You have, okay, let me just ask Ajoba this one. Ajoba, yes. Somebody is asking an interesting question. It says, how can UK and Ghanaian startups partner each other to add value to produce in Ghana to boost exports?
So the agro-processing, as I mentioned in my speech earlier, is one of the key focus areas for bilateral cooperation between the UK government and the Ghana government. So it's an area that we are very interested in. And it's very difficult to answer this question in detail when you don't have an actual example of what the individual wants to do or what that business is interested in engaging with a local partner in. So what we typically would advise is that let's engage, let's understand what your objectives are, let's understand what you're looking for in an ideal business partner. And then what we can do is make recommendations on possible partnership between UK company and then a Ghanaian company, and then do those matchmaking arrangements. But in a general sense, it's very difficult to say what opportunities there are available. What I can say is that there are opportunities in processing for food and then also for industrial raw materials in the agricultural sector. So there are huge opportunities. Thank you, Papa Ko.
Thank you very much, Ajoba. And I think that we'll round up quickly here. Linda?
I've just got one more comment coming in here, and it's, could you provide contact details for the panelists and key players of the seminar so they can be contacted for further discussion? So just to let you all know, ladies and gentlemen, all the slides used in today's webinar will be available on our website. The contact details for the various agencies will be made available on the website as well. So if you do check it out, you can get that information. Thank you. I'll just hand over to Papa Ko to round up the Q&A.
Okay, thank you very much, Linda. We've heard from 4 very distinguished speakers who've taken us through the nuances and the best that you can derive from doing business in Ghana. And they've shared in-depth to us the business ecosystem and how things work. We know there are more answers that there are more questions that people would want to ask, but we also do have answers for them. And that's why Linda said that if you have any further question, you can drop it on our website, and then we'll get the speakers to respond to them. Or you can also contact the speakers through their addresses that will be given at the end of the program. So I would want to say thank you very much for a brilliant delivery of this session, and I'll hand over to Linda to do the conclusion.
Thank you very much, Papa Patel. So, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you found the panel discussion and the Q&A insightful. There are, like my co-host said, quite a number of questions that have also been sent ahead of time, covering other topics that we will be discussing in other webinars. So please do stay tuned for the dates. The slides shared in this session, like I said, will be made available on the website, which is www.dbwh.com. Details for the next webinar will be announced soon on the website, so please do keep an eye out for the announcement as well. And we look forward to welcoming you once again. And once again, we would like to say a very big thank you to our sponsors, Vodafone Business, a reliable total telecommunications provider, offering voice, fixed and mobile, data, cloud, IoT, and mobile services to drive business and growth, business and success. And also to Ghana International Bank, a Ghanaian-owned bank authorized by the PNA and FCA in London with over 50 years of operation. Ladies and gentlemen, all too soon, we've come to the end of this very insightful webinar. And to bring proceedings to a conclusion, I would now like to call upon the Acting Ghana High Commissioner to the UK and Republic of Ireland, Mrs. Matilda Alomatu Osei-Agyemang, to give the closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Linda. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and all panelists, you will agree with me that this has been a very animated discussion. So allow me to now draw the curtain to a close on what has been a very exciting program. We have received very insightful and useful information from our guest speakers and panelists on the business ecosystem in Ghana. And so my sincere hope, therefore, is that the information we have gathered from the speakers and your productive contributions through questions and comments have indeed enriched the program and provided clear pointers to where Ghana as a nation is headed in doing business. Ghana obviously is ticking all the boxes with its business-friendly regulations that seek to make the country economically prosperous and stable. The stable government and proper regulatory reforms, as well as the government's pro-business policies, will continue to promote business startups and enhance already existing ones. So I urge you all to do a good review and say yes to doing business in Ghana. Obviously, a lot of positive things are happening in Ghana. You have online government service portals to complete official paperwork within a short time, elimination of barriers to register your businesses, and the digitization of most of the business registration processes. I will urge you once again to come and do business in Ghana, because our doors are open wide to you, and we say Akwaba to you. In closing, I would want to express my sincere gratitude to our various speakers and panelists for the insightful delivery on the business ecosystem in Ghana. To Mr. Kofi Addo, who represented the Honorable Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Honorable Robert Ahum-Kalinteh, we are grateful. To Mr. Yofi Grant, who was represented by Mr. Sean Latte, thank you for your insightful contribution. Mrs. Jemima Owari, Registrar General of the Registrar General's Department, we are grateful for your input. Ms. Ajoba Chiama, CEO, UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce, thank you as always. You've always been there for us. Mr. Frank Ajekum, Executive Secretary, Ghana International Trade Commission, thank you for joining us today. And Mr. William Pullen, Invest in Ghana, we appreciate your contributions. And also to my entire team who have worked behind the scenes. Oh, Mrs. Ado. Yes, well, our one and only Mrs. Ado, thank you so much for your contribution and for taking us through those insightful deliveries. To my team that has worked behind the scene, we couldn't have done this without you. To the program coordinators, that is Mr. Paul Akwabwa and Mrs. Frida Bedia Kupuni. Thank you so much. To the program moderators, Mr. Papa Korbatels and Miss Linda Wayo. Thank you so much. You've done a great job. To my man who has worked behind the scenes, Mr. Godwin Yauchidi, thank you so much for all your assistance. And to all the many participants stretching the various continents of the world, thank you for your participation. I cannot end this without thanking our sponsors. I've saved the best for the last. Our sponsors, Vodafone Business, and to GHIB, Ghana International Bank. Thank you so much for your continued support in everything that we do. And I hope that we will see you again next year, hopefully in a pandemic-free environment. I wish I won't be wrong in wishing all of us the best of the season and a prosperous new year. Thank you once again and see you next year. All the best.
My name is Samuel Menya Asakisiedu. I am the Information Technology Manager for Millennium Insurance Company Limited. Millennium Insurance Company Limited is a general business insurance company which has in its businesses motor insurance, fire insurance, anything related to non-life insurance. Millennium has been doing business with Vodafone since 2012 when we started as a company. We've been using their voice and data services. For voice services, we've been using both their fixed line and mobile line services. These services provided by Vodafone has been very reliable, and we've been with them ever since. Fiber to the business is one very interesting service that Vodafone has introduced, which is able to give very reliable data services to the business. It has really helped Millennium Insurance as we run most of our services on it, including our VPN services, which have been very stable and reliable.
Ready?
So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know what you're shown. What where you what you're shown. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know what you're shown. Manchester, you know Sumanguru, you know what where you what you're shown. What's that to do, you know? Wamasa, you know? Yasantwa, you know what you're shown. Kaja Israel, Kabaiki, Kaja Ethiopia, Kaja Sudan, what you're shown. Akwaka, Bachimo, one year, Afokaraja, Akachmo, 1 year, and in young fang. Akwaka, Bachimo, 1 year, Afokaraja, Akachmo, 1 year, and in young fang. I'm a Gamian Matu, 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 we not a Takachimo, Waka, Wabanya, Kajan Zalima, Kajan Zalima, Kajan Zalima, Kajan Zalima, Numabami, Ebajan Zalima, what you do, what you know, what you know, no fit jump. Them say we no fit jump. Them say we no fit jump. Them say you no fit jump. Them say we no go fit jump. I'm a girl when you want to my boy na cha cha. Catch you my walk where I'm bad. Get your jeans inside the mama. Not be why you know. Get your jeans inside the mama.